start the report. I'm fucking Ryan. I'm your host, Jamie. On this very special edition of IWR, are going to give you our WWE WrestleMania XXVIII preview coming this Sunday on pay-per-view, live from Miami, Florida. You know, as it is with every WrestleMania, it is exactly what everybody says it is. It's the grandest show of them all. It's on the grandest stage of them all. You know, everybody, then they talk about it, they say it's like it's the World Series of wrestling. It's, you know, the Super Bowl of wrestling, all this stuff like that. In my eyes, I don't think there is a grander stage than WrestleMania. I don't think there's a grander show of entertainment, of everything that they, you know, that comes together with this. I really think that all those shows should call themselves the WrestleMania of their sport, in my opinion. But that's just how I think and just how I am. But really looking forward to this show. This one really, as we'll get in here and you'll tell, at least in my eyes, it's really special and really has a special feel. It seems a little bit, has a different feel than a lot of the past WrestleManias over the past couple of years, and it's got a couple tidbits here that is really making this one really special this year. But what are your first impressions going into the big show this Sunday?
Yeah, I mean, I am absolutely hyped. Definitely, you know, I think the most hyped I was for WrestleMania when I was younger, I think, for me, it was WrestleMania 20. I was really, really excited because, you know, I bought WrestleMania 19 with my own money going in, you know, and then I was like, man, next year, I'm so excited, the 20th, you know, WrestleMania.
I remember that too, yeah.
The whole setup, and I remember the whole day, just all day all I wanted to do was just, I got up early, I just sat around for hours waiting for it to start, and I was so hyped for WrestleMania 20. You know, and it did, you know, did not disappoint for me as a fan of WrestleMania 20. But, you know, with this, so many, you know, special matches for different reasons on here. You know, we'll get into all the reasons why, but this looks like one of the most exciting and you know, just giving everyone what they want. It's got a little bit of just everything for everybody this year. The indie fans, the original fans, the dream match, you know, this, that. You couldn't ask for a better, you know, top matches on this. So I'm super excited. I can't wait. I'm going to have my bag of pistachios, and
we'll be ready. Yeah, like you said, you know, I make a big deal of this. You know, I told you guys numerous times I've had the opportunity to go to 2 WrestleManias. It is just something that it just makes you feel like a kid again. It just makes you feel like it's really something special, and you don't even feel like you just feel like you're just encased in a moment, and it's just all that the entire time there, you know. And I'll make a day out of it. I'll sit the entire day and, you know, watch the previous WrestleMania. I've done that for years and years, and throughout the entire month leading up, I'll watch all the WrestleManias and just make a big, you know, deal out of that. And that's just, you know, from our favorite sport and everything that we love about, and that's just, we make it a big thing, and this is really a special one coming this Sunday. We're going to run down the card for you. First matchup, starting out with after we talk so positive about that, we're not going to talk very positive about this one. We have a Divas tag match featuring Divas champion Beth Phoenix and Eve Torres going up against Kelly Kelly and mega celebrity star Maria Menounos. Yeah, I've been thinking about this one. It's just amazing how WWE can never give us just a standard Divas match when it comes to WrestleMania. They always want to throw some sort of either a celebrity thing like we've seen, you know, with Snooki this past year, which was terrible with that, you know, fucking handicap match or whatever, or that mixed tag match or whatever they had there. They'll have these tag matches like they had at like 26 with like Vicky in there. 25 they had that fucking battle royal with Santino, which was pretty damn funny. But 24 they had the fucking lights go out in that Playboy match, and you know, 23 they had that shitty ass thing with Ashley and Melina. You know, it's just like the last one that we got to was WrestleMania 22. That was the last solid Divas match, and I was there live for that with Mickie James and Trish Stratus, which is outstanding. And you just can't, we can't ever seem to get a full build going into a solid WrestleMania match for the women's, and it's just can't get it. And it's just what we're gonna get here. It's unfortunate that Karma was not able. Obviously, we saw her return at the Royal Rumble, thinking that possibly she'd be able to go at WrestleMania. Not happening here. And now setting up this match, Maria Menounos is not a celebrity. Maria Menounos will not get any buys for WrestleMania. People are not paying attention to this fucking show because of Maria fucking Menounos. No one cares, and no one will care. She's not a celebrity. She fucking talks about celebrities. That's what it is. The winner of this match will probably be Kelly Kelly and Maria. You were telling me that she was hurt or some shit.
Yeah, she broke a rib or something on Dancing with the Stars.
So we can only pray that she doesn't get in the ring, because we've seen her in the ring amazing before. But yeah, but we're just getting another kind of throwaway Divas match here. I'm at WrestleMania, and I'm going to go with the faces of Kelly Kelly and Maria Menounos getting the win.
Yeah, I mean, the faces win here, just because of the so-called celebrity in this match. Exactly what he said, you know, she is a reporter. She talks to other celebrities. I think, you know, I think the press getting a hold of this is the main reason why they want to do this. Have, you know, what is it, Extra or Inside? I don't know, whatever show she's on. You know, since she's going to be at WrestleMania, they'll be talking about her being on it for the next 2 weeks, and they'll mention it a whole bunch, and then people want to go see it. Bullshit. Yeah. Nobody cares about seeing that. Nobody's going to buy it just to see her match. That's complete retardation. I mean, I could see last year somebody being like, "Oh yeah, I'm so into Jersey Shore. I should Snooki. Whoa, yeah." This absolutely not. I see zero buys. Her mom and her grandma. Buy this paper. Her boyfriend.
Douchey boyfriend, probably. Yeah.
But I don't expect this to be good at all. I expect this to be a giant waste of time. Yeah. I mean, that's literally all I'll see out of this.
There you go. Next up, we have the Intercontinental title line win champion, the Reptar King, Cody Rhodes. That's my own nickname for him. I think he's some sort of looks like a dinosaur sometimes when he comes out. He's badass. But the Intercontinental champion Cody Rhodes going up against the Big Show. This one really involved around bringing in Big Show's past at WrestleMania, not being anything too special. Obviously, kind of making a fool out of himself with, you know, showing the Aki Bono match at WrestleMania 21, the stuff that Ray wasn't even at WrestleMania 18, to being in New York.
WrestleMania, oh yeah!
WrestleMania, oh yeah! Just holding that kid. That's fucking hilarious. And, you know, the things that he hasn't done really too special, not really performing on the grandest stage of them all, even though he was in a main event at WrestleMania 2000. Nobody will mention that. But this one here, the only thing I get out of it is, yet again, just like the women's title, we can never get a legitimate Intercontinental title match at WrestleMania. I was thinking back, obviously they had the WrestleMania 25 match with Ray and JBL, which lasted all of like a minute, with, you know, JBL retiring and Ray winning the title. Before that, it was like WrestleMania like 18 with like RVD and like William Regal or some shit, I think, or something like that for the IC title. We haven't gotten like a young guy versus a young guy for the Intercontinental title like it should be. The workhorse title, that's what it's all about. And we're just not getting it. And here, they're probably going to give the title to the Big Show. They've just set it up so much to just give him the title. I hope we don't get a layoff from Cody Rhodes, because Cody Rhodes, in my eyes, Cody Rhodes and Dolph Ziggler are the two most up-and-coming stars in WWE right now and are so primed and ready for the main event. Cody Rhodes has just impressed me immensely in the last this past stretch of about a year or so, with just the character that he has become, and really he's so comfortable with what he's doing. And like, you know, before he really wasn't knowing what he was, and finally getting with this and rolling with what he's doing, and it's getting behind with a lot of people, especially me. I'm a huge fan of Cody Rhodes, and I'm just so looking forward to his future, but I do not see him holding on to the IC title after this one. I have the Big Show winning the Intercontinental title.
Yeah, I think they give, they do the defining WrestleMania moment for Big Show here, a guy that is always loved by the business and always loved by all the people backstage, and, hey, it seems like, what they did with Ric Flair, how they give Ric Flair the Intercontinental title late in his career, in his WWE career. I can see, Big Show winning here. I was telling him, when you think Intercontinental title, you think workhorse. And when you think workhorse, you think Big Show.
Exactly.
You think horse.
Yeah, I don't think
not so much work.
Work's not in front of
but
that.
You think horse. Yeah. And at least he's half. Half of that statement.
Exactly.
So 50-50, at least
you get the work. Well, see, you could combine it with just this match. You get the work of Cody Rhodes and the horse. So workhorse. Maybe that's how they define the title.
You might have to put him down.
That's depressing, but
he's sick, so we got to put him down.
There's no more putting stocking caps in little kids anymore.
Absolutely not. The camo's got to go.
Camo's got to go. No more WMD.
As big as
WM dead.
Yeah, there is no possibility of Big Show walking around in the woods with camouflage on and still not being seen. It's just not going to happen. No amount of camouflage is going to. They might think he's a tree.
Good. If he just stood.
He stood still.
Just stood still. Yeah.
A horse tree.
Tree.
But anyway, Big Show wins here. I would expect Cody Rhodes to I kind of think Big Show would like to have himself a good little match.
Yeah.
I wouldn't expect it to be amazing, but I do have a little bit of expectations for this, so yeah. I would expect a little bit.
We go on now to a match that really just got started over the past couple of weeks with Randy Orton and Kane. Having Kane basically just come out and attack Randy Orton and basically set it up from a SmackDown this past summer where they shook hands and Kane showed the lighter side. Yeah, you want to know what I'm getting out of this? They had nothing else to do and they needed to throw Randy Orton and Kane on here, and there you go. You have Randy Orton and Kane. And me being a huge Randy Orton fan from the beginning, he's one of my favorites of all time. Seeing him in yet another WrestleMania where he's getting underutilized. It's just ridiculous with a guy so special and so in the prime of his career doing absolutely nothing. Really, they had the WrestleMania 27 match with CM Punk, which is great, and I wanted to see that, but really nothing special came out of that. I mean, it was a good match, but nothing, to the point that it's, over WrestleMania. 26, they had the triple threat, obviously, with all the legacy guys. And then 25, obviously, in the main event, but got overperformed by Shawn and Taker. So, it kind of upsets me that these past 3 years really haven't been to the point to where Randy Orton has been really, he's been putting on some really solid matches. I think 2011 was one of his best years as far as, his in-ring work and what he did there. But we're going to need to see something different out of Randy Orton. I would love to see him heel. That's how I want to see him. But here, we're getting Randy Orton and Kane. As far as the match, it could be pretty good. But really, it's just going to be something that they ended up adding on here because that's really all it was. I mean, they tried to pull something out of their ass to make sense for this build, but it's nothing. It is what it is. They had to throw him in here, and that's what they did. As far as the winner, I'm going to go with Randy Orton. It kind of upsets me that with what they've done with Kane, as his resurrection has come and he hasn't done shit, and it's really upsetting because it's just a great. What they've done with him is really great as far as his look and bringing back that old school feel about him, but he hasn't done jack shit, so that's the only kind of upsetting thing.
Yeah. The thing with Kane is, like you said, they did the mask and they did the whole thing with him, and I don't know, it does seem like they try to throw this whole thing in here. It really, the build for this is just horrendous.
It's not even a build.
It's not. There is zero build. There is zero build. And like I said, it's just one of those things where they want to throw both the guys on the card. I could see. Honestly, what they did with Kane and John Cena, I think would have worked better with Kane and Randy Orton. Yeah. Just because Randy Orton is that guy that we've always talked about. Randy Orton is that guy who's a heel trying to be a face. Yeah. And it just comes off really comes off like they could have done the embrace the hate kind of thing with Randy Orton here, but they already used it with John Cena, so they can't do it.
Exactly.
They can't do it.
And it works so much better.
Yeah, and that would have been an interesting build. Obviously, the thought process was for Randy Orton. Actually, I don't know what Randy Orton was going to do. The plan was actually to have Wade Barrett be in the Money in the Bank, so I really thought Randy Orton was going to face. I really had no idea what Randy Orton was.
I still wanted Randy and Daniel Bryan for the world title.
I would be okay with. I would have been okay with putting Randy Orton in the main event and making it a triple threat. I really think
which one? Daniel Bryan
champ. Sorry, main event. Yeah.
I really think that it would have made a lot of sense because everybody had connections in that to do a four-way if Wade Barrett was healthy. Yeah. They could have definitely did Daniel Bryan, Sheamus, Randy, and Barrett in a four-way for the world title. I think that would have made a lot of sense. And you could have put those guys in there. Wade Barrett could have got some, in the limelight of a WrestleMania if he was healthy, which is really unfortunate that, a young guy like Wade Barrett got injured with that he did on a couple weeks ago on Raw, but this is what we're getting out of it. Next matchup, we have the 12-man tag match to determine the GM for both Raw and SmackDown. We have Team Johnny versus Team Teddy. Sounds like the fucking Spirit Squad running this fucking Johnny this matchup. We have Team Johnny featuring Captain David Otunga, The Miz, Dolph Ziggler, Drew McIntyre, Jack Swagger, and Mark Henry go up against Team Teddy featuring Captain Santino Marella, Kofi Kingston, Booker T, R-Truth, Zack Ryder, and Great Khali. Obviously, a lot of stuff happening going into this match. And trying to develop this matchup. They had Christian in there of this past week and just pulled him out. Disappointing to see that. As he said, we'd love to see that Dennis and Menace haircut a little bit more often because that just looked tremendous. And we just need Christian back. It's just so disappointing not to be able to see him if it's like a lingering injury or whatever it is. But hopefully we can get that cleaned up because we need Christian back on full schedule. Just adding The Miz in this past week, obviously. A lot of word of maybe having people return. The Del Rios were talked about, Mysterios were talked about, all this kind of stuff. Not having that, having Booker T being added to Team Teddy. You could add whatever you want in this. All this really is just useless. This is just so useless. And having these guys in there like a Drew McIntyre, like a Dolph Ziggler, like The Miz, who was in the main event of last year's WrestleMania and retained the WWE Championship against John Cena. And this is where he had this year. It's like, what the fuck? I mean, it's just something to almost like what they used to do with the Money in the Bank, which is why I wanted to see it back here, where they just threw a lot of guys that weren't, doing much or didn't have anything really planned out for WrestleMania, and they threw them in the Money in the Bank, and it seemed like it was significant. This doesn't seem significant because, first off, John Laurinaitis or Teddy Long shouldn't be GM of anything. They're just fucking terrible at everything they do. Sure. And, Laurinaitis, it trips over his words every fucking second of the day. It's just terrible to see him out there, but he gets heat because he's so goddamn dumb. It's legit. He's legit retarded. It's like literally, it works for him because he's like that. And Teddy is what Teddy is. He's been like that for years on SmackDown, all this kind of stuff. But I hope something after WrestleMania gets figured out to where it's something different. I know we were talking about some other stuff today that could end up having to be really interesting, but as far as the winner, I'm going with Team Johnny. It's just not only being so lopsided to Team Johnny, it's just ridiculous, but Teddy's not going to be needed for both of them. It's not something, Teddy's just kind of like the whatever, they just threw him on there because they didn't have any ideas to do with him back a couple of years ago when he started being GM, but John Laurinaitis is something that he gets the heat because he's as he is. It's what he is, and he's got that thing going with Punk and all this kind of stuff. But I'm going with Team Laurinaitis giving the win in this matchup.
Yeah, I got to go with Team Johnny Laurinaitis here. Johnny Ace.
Team Ace.
Team Ace.
Should we call Team Ace? Be a better team.
Ace. Ace hole.
Here
it is. Yeah, I don't know with this. I really see this going about 7 minutes.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
7 minutes.
It's not elimination.
All spots.
It's not elimination, is it?
No.
Okay.
All spots.
Yeah.
And I just see just a bunch of them just flying around with no referee provision, anything. Just a bunch of shenanigans with just them shoving each other and
just probably sticking a flag up.
But it's gotten to the point, I don't know if you guys do the same thing that I do, but it's gotten to the point that when you hate somebody's, like hate a wrestler or just anything in general so much, that it just kind of is just like to the point where you hate it so much that you like it. You know what I mean?
I guess.
Like I am a full, firm believer. I've just converted just being a David Otunga fan. He is so ridiculously terrible.
This is truthful right here.
This is truthful. So ridiculously terrible that I want to see him fail so much.
Yeah. You almost want to see him succeed so you could see him fail.
Yeah.
Okay. Because he's starting to look a tidbit like... It's like his name is almost David Otunga, Chris Masters, Wade Barrett. It's almost like he just combined everything because he's got the coat like Wade Barrett now. Yeah. He drops that. He does the poses. Like
I see him being the Mike Bennett of WWE.
That's a good rep. To some of you who have no idea what the fuck we're talking about right there. Ring of Honor.
The Mike Bennett of TNA. Or not TNA.
Yeah, we are all over
Who would be the Mike Bennett of TNA?
Mike Bennett of TNA. That's a good question. Maybe
Matt Morgan?
Robbie E, maybe?
Oof. Well, basically that was just random.
Yeah.
But, I go with the heel team winning here. They obviously want to go forth with something with Laurinaitis. Teddy Long seems like he might get out of there and take a break or leave or something. And I expect this to be short, just like every other 6-man. What was a 6-man last year or something like that? Or it had like
they had the core.
It was like the core was like 4 minutes long or something.
Terrible, yeah.
So I would expect. I see a lot of shenanigans.
It's just disappointing to have so much talent in this match and really just nothing for it. It's just disappointing.
It could surprise.
You never know. It could end up turning into something where it feels like almost like a Survivor Series tag match, maybe. I know there's not eliminations, but it could end up turning like that. I know it's not going to get that much time, but like I said, a lot of guys in there that are just so amazingly talented and getting thrown into this concept that is just really terrible. But that's what we got for that. Next matchup, we have the World Heavyweight Championship on the line when champion Daniel Bryan goes up against Sheamus. This one's going to be really interesting with obviously Daniel Bryan going into WrestleMania as World Heavyweight Champion is just so great to see to us as huge Daniel Bryan fans. We've known him from the past, and coming to this, if you'd have told me 3 years ago that Daniel Bryan would be in a main event type match for the World Heavyweight Championship, going in as world champion, I would never believed it. It's just amazing to see. Amazing to see that him finally getting the opportunity to entertain you people, because a lot of you people out there didn't think that Daniel Bryan could be entertaining, show charisma, show personality. you guys are getting proved wrong with what he's doing out there with AJ. Just some hilariously entertaining shit that he's going out there to do with AJ. There's just been some really quality moments on television these past couple weeks with what they've been doing with Daniel Bryan and AJ, and Sheamus just been on a warpath lately, winning about every damn match he's been in and winning the Royal Rumble in St. Louis. Got to see that live. That was outstanding. And now going into this World Championship match with Daniel Bryan, I think it would just be absolutely genius to have Daniel Bryan retain here, but I really don't see it. I know we were just talking before we did this, that everybody going into last year's world title match with Edge and Del Rio thought it was going to be knock it out of the ballpark. Del Rio would be winning the world title and moving on, and that's not what we got out of that. I could see a lot of people definitely thinking that Sheamus, and even WWE themselves, has really set this up for Sheamus to finally win the world title, and just showing Daniel Bryan's cowardly acts and the way he kind of gets cheap wins and all this kind of stuff. I think it would be genius to have Daniel Bryan retain here, but I don't see it. I think Sheamus will be the new World Heavyweight Champion. I just hope that Daniel Bryan doesn't fall down. Like a lot of guys that they've, great talented guys that have, grown or gone up to that point and then just kind of fall back from there. I really hope they, continue to do something productive with Daniel Bryan if he does end up losing the title here, but I got Sheamus in the World Champion.
Yeah, I got to go with Sheamus winning here too. Like I completely agree with the idea of, each year at WrestleMania they always try to do something where it seems like a surefire win, or somebody you would absolutely think somebody would win, and then they totally flip it, totally do it, totally different. This seems like a situation where Daniel Bryan could win and just really totally confuse everybody. I think it would be awesome. I think it would be cool to see that. But I definitely got to go with Sheamus winning here. I think it's, I would say it'd probably be the right move to going into their future with what they're going to do with Sheamus probably. But, I'd say since they got snubbed last year and they weren't able to have their match on WrestleMania.
Yeah. Very interesting little tidbit. Not a lot of people remember that about the U.S. title match.
Yeah, they were supposed to have that U.S. title match between these two last year. Now they're in the world title match this year. So hopefully, since they felt like they should have a little bit, what's the word I'm thinking of? Grudge, a bit of a grudge.
A
bit of a grudge on what happened.
They're probably both going in with both of them realizing that what happened last year, that they didn't get that opportunity and they want to shine through. Yeah.
And I can definitely see, both of them being like, listen, if they're going to give us 13, 14 minutes, let's go out there and just tear the house down.
And I really think that Daniel Bryan could possibly give Sheamus the best match of his career in my eyes if they have the time to do it. Daniel Bryan's one of those guys who could go out there and have a quality match with anybody he's out there with and make everybody out there he's with great. And I think if they had the time given, Sheamus hasn't had a lot of opportunities to go in there with a guy like a Daniel Bryan. He's been in there with kind of the bigger guys like a Cena or a Randy or those kind of guys, and haven't really had the opportunity to go in there with a guy who will make him work his ass off like a Daniel Bryan. Hopefully that we get that out of there, and it's not just kind of the feeling of like a squash over over Daniel Bryan for Sheamus. Hopefully we get some nice work in there, but it'll be interesting for the world title there. Next matchup, we have the WWE Championship on the line when champion CM Punk goes up against Chris Jericho. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been a dream match for one J-Man for a very long time because these guys are fucking made for each other. If there's two guys you could think of, I know Chris Jericho and stuff they did with Shawn Michaels in the past, those guys were made for each other. This is just another case of two guys that can go out there and can make everybody work better, but when you have two of them out there that are the exact same kind of guy that want to go out there and be the best and provide the best quality, match and moment and feel, everything they want to do out there. You have two of those guys in the ring at the same time. This is going to be some special stuff. The build to this has been very interesting, something that I did not think that they were going to do. They really, first started Elimination Chamber, kind of played off that little injury thing that Jericho did and didn't go off that, ended up announcing the match, and then started to go into the best in the world thing, which is, to my eyes, what they should have ran with the entire time, because it is just the naturally made storyline angle to go into with these guys, and it makes sense of who's in there. They're not lying about what they're talking about. When Chris Jericho is in there, he is the best in the world. CM Punk is in there, he's the best in the world. These guys are legitimate contenders every year to be like a wrestler of the year. That's just what it is. It's just who these guys are. They want to be the best because they, quite frankly, are the best. And then, throwing over the past couple weeks, throwing these kind of shots that Jericho's been doing towards Punk and his family and a lot of stuff, which is very, very interesting. I didn't think they were going to do, testing the, the fact of, showing Punk having to care about something. We've seen Punk kind of almost do this to people, and now we've had Jericho do it to Punk, and we haven't seen that happen to CM Punk in the run that he's had here. And saying that his father's a drunk and all this kind of stuff. And if you guys remember CM Punk and his past and all this kind of stuff, I still remember it's my favorite promo of all time. The one he cut on Raven back in like 2003 or something like that, where he talked about his father in that stairwell and everything. And it's just amazing that all this kind of stuff could come back to the forefront and stuff like that is really meaningful. And then they bring in his mom and his sister and all this stuff, which is just, it's just ridiculous to think about, but really testing, stuff like that, saying, Punk, the alcohol's in your blood and all this stuff, and talking about being straight edge and all this stuff like that. And it's just really interesting that they went this route. I thought just going the best in the world route would be everything that you could expect, and just have them go in there and do what they do. The build in this kind of obviously got overshined by everything that Rock and Cena and Tripp and Taker were doing. Obviously going in a lot of this stuff, Punk was out there every damn week, it seemed, working in there. And, Jericho got in there a couple matches and worked some stuff. But I am so looking forward to this match. As I said, it's a dream match that I know they had like something back in like SmackDown, like in 2008. But as far as a feud building to a WrestleMania match, I mean, this is the be-all, end-all right here. This is some great stuff, and I really think these guys, the last couple matches here coming towards the end can all steal the show, but these are a legitimate threat to steal the show. And there's been talk of them possibly doing this first. If they do this match first, I'm going to be so pissed, because I just don't want to see it first. It's the WWE Championship. You don't do the WWE Championship first at WrestleMania. I just don't want to see that. I know there's a lot of matches they're going to have to shuffle around to kind of, bring the crowd up and, let them calm down and get ready for another big match. But I'm going to be up for this match, that's for damn sure, because I'm really looking forward to this. A possible show stealer, no doubt. It'll be something I'll remember for a very long time, because I've wanted to see this for a very long time. Your winner, still champion, CM Punk.
Yeah, I gotta agree with that, and I think it's they should have ran with the best in the world storyline here. I think it's I don't know. I'm guessing they almost just seem to think that it's just that storyline is just the best in the world storyline is just not good enough. I don't see why it's not. I think WWE's main problem right now when it comes to storyline situation is they not really quite sure what they want to do, and then they really try to force a storyline down our throat.
It almost comes too late.
It almost comes too late, and they almost, it seems real forced, and just like you're like, it doesn't come natural.
Yep.
To let things lay out. But regardless, this match here, there's certain matches in my opinion that a build is something that adds to a match, and that's great. But this match, regardless, this could have been Kane Randy Orton build, and I really wouldn't have given a shit. I really care about is just what happens when the bell rings.
Exactly.
And when it bell ends, bell rings again. That's really all I care about. This the feud or the build leading up doesn't really mean shit to me. The actual match is what I'm looking forward to, and I know they can go out there and do some great stuff. So hopefully we get something here, especially because I know we both really want to see some good stuff here out of that.
Next matchup, we have the end of an era match, the Hell in a Cell match with special referee, the Heartbreak Kid Shawn Michaels, between Triple H and The Undertaker. When I was 7 years old, I started watching professional wrestling. Outside of, and that's right, diving straight into the Attitude Era, just as a little kid into the greatest era. I know me and him both started watching around the exact same time and dove straight into the greatest era in wrestling history that we will never see again. Outside of Stone Cold and The Rock, who are obviously two of the most important and biggest key members of the Attitude Era, the three people that really helped make me fall in love with this sport and this business so much was 1, Shawn Michaels, 2, Triple H, and 3, The Undertaker. These guys are so a part of the fabric and foundation of what I love, which is professional wrestling. It's just something that, when you remember something when you were, a kid or something like that, you remember it because it was special and because it meant something to you. The way that this is all formatted is just beautiful to me. I just think that it's so pure, and it's so just done just beautifully, the way they could just say it's the end of the era with the two biggest. I know there's guys that are still there, like the Canes or the Big Shows that were there around there, but the two significant and most important people still left of that era having this match to end it. And I really think that the last 4 years, I've told these guys a million times, the last 4 years have really been strung together on purpose. And I really think that it is something that has been a reflection of everything that they've done over the past 4 years is really coming down to this. with what the 2 years they did with Shawn Michaels and The Undertaker at 25 and 26, having him end his career at 26 and now at 27, and it really looked like this was possibly going to continue. Maybe at WrestleMania, we finally found out that it was. Adding in Shawn Michaels and then throwing on the Hell in a Cell match, I mean, I don't understand how you could make something more special and more special feeling. I mean, you add, again, into this build, Metallica, which is my favorite band of all time. Even adding more to this, adding this in is just amazing. Having The Memory Remains plays, which if you guys know that song, the lyrics to that song, what it merely means about the ending of something, and having it fade away and having the memories of the past come to the forefront in the end. And I think this is just so beautifully done, and WWE understands these ideas of making these matches become almost moments and not even matches. They just make the entire feel of this become a moment, and to me, this is so special. This means a lot to me. As I said, being that little kid, I'm going to feel like a little kid when I watch this match because it is what it is. This is the dream Hell in a Cell match that the two most dominant performers are a part of that have been in this matchup. Adding in Shawn Michaels, having this... It's just amazing. I mean, outside of, I'm looking forward to the goddamn video package with, Memory Remains, with the part in that song where it has that creepy old lady with the la la la. This is going to be badass. It's going to be goosebumps just watching the damn videos on, Raws and just seeing all that. And getting into this match, as we talked about today, we were talking earlier, they're going to do whatever the hell they need to prove that this is exactly what it is and prove that it's the end. There's going to be, in my opinion, as they stated in the Hell in a Cell, I think there's going to be blood in this match. Their chair shots, anything that they could pull out to make this match seem what it is and special as it is, I think they will. And the lasting image that I've had in my mind is Shawn Michaels pinning his best friend of close to 20 years to the mat, 1, 2, 3, and Undertaker going to 20-0. There's been a lot of talk of stuff, what's going to happen after this. I'm not looking after this. I'm looking for this Sunday and for this match because it means something really special to me, and I know you guys can make fun of me and say whatever the hell you want, but this is what I love. This is my passion. This is what's real, and I'm going to be into this 100%. It's going to be emotional throughout the entire thing. It's going to be special, and then I see The Undertaker going to 20-0.
Yeah, I mean, it's exactly like you say it is. From the time the cell comes down, they're both in the ring with Shawn Michaels as the referee. It's going to be like one of those things where you're just, where were you at that moment when you were watching? What were you doing? It really comes off like that, and it's with this and the actual main event with Roxina. It's just insane to have both of these matches on one card. To me, I had this such sour taste in my mouth, thinking that they were going to do I don't know. Maybe it's just me being selfish as a fan, and as a fan of what they could, I could see, want to see them do with the Undertaker. I was so selfish that I was like, they're only going to have him face Triple H again, and I just kept thinking about it, and then they added the Shawn Michaels and the Hell in the Cell, and like it is, what he says, it does seem to come all together, all on purpose. And it comes together beautifully, and the whole storyline and the build of it makes absolute, 100% just the best possible attitude feel. Where were you when this happened? Where were you when that happened? And it really from that time on, it's literally it's going to feel like you're sitting 99 on your couch watching a WWF pay-per-view. I really get that feeling, and like I said to him, I think it's one of those things where it's like, both these guys have such massive stroke in this company. They're gonna do what they want to do. Yeah. They're not gonna black out the screen if blood happens. They're not gonna fine them for chair shots. It's just not gonna happen. This is gonna be, that type of brawl. I really almost see this going and being like Shawn Michaels versus Undertaker Hell in a Cell. Yeah. I really can see them going all out. If the possibility of both these guys retiring, or at least one of them retiring, you gotta expect something great out of this. And I really think this could be the best match of the whole weekend. So I mean, it's interesting to see here, and I'm very excited for this. So let's hope for the best.
It's gonna be special, that's for sure. Speaking of another, that's just going to be very special. We have the main event here, once in a lifetime, The Rock versus John Cena. I don't know how long that everybody has been wanting to see this match. It's been a dream match that everybody has thought about, and it's finally coming to the forefront. I could still remember sitting right here talking a year ago that this match was going to happen at WrestleMania 28, and it seemed so far away, and look where we're at. We're right here talking about it, a couple days away, getting ready for this matchup. This match is really, really special, and it's really, really interesting than a lot of other epic kind of huge matches that we've seen in WrestleMania history. This one's really different and really intriguing with what it is with them, bringing in a lot of outside things, talking about the movies, talking about, Twitter, all this and that shit, bringing that into explaining this match and explaining this build, talking about, John Cena 7 years or whatever, 10 years that he's been there for, the time that Rock was gone and taking over from what Rock did and all this and that. And at times, this build, I wanted it to just be traditional. I really just wanted to just have that kind of feel of every night they'd come out there, face off, do their kind of typical talk shit stuff. But and I'm not one to want traditional things in wrestling. I want something intriguing, something interesting to happen. But when it comes down to something this, this big and this kind of just important in what it is of wrestling, I don't think we really realize how important this match is because it's happening right in front of our face and it's going by so quickly that, in a couple of years we're going to look back and then like, damn, I can't believe that they actually did John Cena and The Rock. It's going to be something where we look back and, think about that. And at times this build has kind of looked like a circus act. It's kind of looked a little funny. They've done a lot of interesting things. One big thing that sticks out to me is the entire controversial thing that really has not ever gotten figured out about The Rock having to write shit on his arm and all this kind of stuff. And, we've looked through it and overanalyzed it and all this and that. And that is one big thing that, I just hate about a lot of wrestling fans. I've been a victim of it before, of just overanalyzing things. And one thing this week that I won't be doing is overanalyzing jack shit. I will be sitting there enjoying every minute of this entire card and of this match because I want it to be special and I want it to feel special. But as far as that whole shit, and they've talked that somebody put it on there because they had to have something to have John Cena shit on The Rock for because they can't. Because if this was, and this wasn't at all a true build to an iconic match or something like that it has been, it's been that kind of circus show kind of thing. But if they had The Rock and John Cena go out there and do what they're best used to and what they're fully capable of, and John Cena is a good talker. I think he's underrated as a talker. I think he's very good. He would get absolutely fucking destroyed by The Rock. It just is what it is. So if they had to throw something in there to have something against him, because the only thing they really had was, hey, Rock, you said you weren't going to leave and you left. That's all you really have. And John Cena's, that's really all you can say. But The Rock's gone out there and just done the exact kind of same thing and just pandered to all that kind of shit. But, the build hopefully will be forgotten. I really don't, care that much. They had a lot of interesting tidbits. The Rock was hilarious in the things he did, the Rock concert and the rap, having John Cena come out looking just straight like you're watching a 2003 SmackDown. That was awesome to see. I think that was one of the highlights. I thought it was great. But getting to this match, the bigness of it, it's going to be there.
Yep.
I know we're scared that possibly the crowd, might not come up for this. I don't think that's possible. I think the crowd's going to be so fucking hot for this match. Being in The Rock's hometown in Miami, it's going to have that, Rock Hogan feel. And it's really going to have that feel of the crowd just anticipating what they're going to see and what they're going to get out of this, and hopefully we get something great. I know they both said that they want to give us an iconic match, not just that going in there just to be what they are. They want to give us a match and something that will be remembered, and I think that we will get something that will be remembered out of this. I didn't say this going into this, but this is going to be the biggest little 10-year-old J-Man that you've ever seen, because it is what it is when it gets around this time. I'm not going to pick John Cena. I'm going to pick The Rock. It is what it is. I know John Cena is going to win. It's so apparent. It's just like it was with Rock and Hogan. Hogan putting over The Rock, going into his phase of everything. It's just, it is what it is with Cena. John Cena's probably going to win. I'm going to pick The Rock, but I hope we just get something special out of this. That's really what I want. And that this is really how it feels. It's just really special, and that's what I hope we get out of it.
Yeah, this is absolutely a very special match here. I'm really not afraid to say it. When I was starting growing up, when I was watching it really hot, when I was young, The Rock was my guy. The Rock was my guy. He was my favorite guy. He did all this stuff with leading up and left and went in movies, and I'm not afraid to say that I was really disgruntled as a fan, as a huge fan when he left and kind of just left us hanging when I thought he could have stayed around, but he did his own thing, and that's fine. and early in the Cena career, I was a big fan of him too. So it's interesting to see at these particular times in these guys' career, getting in there and doing this kind of thing. This special iconic match here, and with the way they've built it up and the our promo and our documentary special thing that they did. I mean, they really are setting this up to be one of the most memorable matches of all time. It really has that Hulk Hogan, Andre the Giant kind of remembrance. Everyone remembers the slam and this and that. It's always looked back on. I really expect a lot out of this here, and that is the one thing me and him we've talked about, and I really just don't want to overanalyze it because I really want to sit and just enjoy it as a fan. It is the crowd, it has to be there, but I think it's going to be there. I think it is going to be there, and I think it's going to be something special. It really is, and it's going to be hard to say who's going to win here, but I definitely got to go John Cena winning here. It just seems like that next level, putting over a guy kind of thing, and a very special thing. I don't know. It just seems really hard to put into words how these guys are gonna go in there and work this match, because the hatred you see between these guys is very apparent, and a lot of people have stated this. That would be the only thing I could see really just being interesting to see how these guys work a match. But I would almost guarantee they would put that aside to put on something that fans will be talking about for years, and obviously we will be talking about for. I mean, you're going to probably see us just crapping our pants for the review of this. This is a big one here, guys. This is definitely one of the biggest wrestling shows probably ever. It's really hard to say it's not. So who knows? Hopefully you guys are watching. I would definitely. I mean, don't stream it. Buy it. It's definitely it's one of those pay-per-views where it's those things you're willing to put your money on because of how good it's.
These are one of the things where you need to sit back and remember what you're doing and what you got into. We love this business and we love this sport, and this is the pinnacle. This is them putting on the fact that they could say whatever they want about this. They could have whatever bullshit's going around. This is where it's at, and this is what we love. This is what we fell in love with, and this is the pinnacle of everything that we could get out of this great sport. And I am so looking forward to this Sunday. It's not even funny, but it's going to be great, and we'll be there every second of the way. And this will now wrap up our WWE WrestleMania XXVIII preview. Be sure to check out our Insta review after the big show Sunday. For my partner Ryan, I'm your host J-Man. Thank you for watching another edition of the Insta Wrestling Report, your source of professional wrestling news, information, opinions, and stuff.